welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today I'm here with watercolor painting. So let's start with the material I'm gonna use today. So these are all the material I'm gonna use. Make sure you have a paper tape, and I'm also gonna be using this watercolor. Now I put the link down below if you want to check all of this out. It's all from Office Depot, and I'm gonna use these brushes. I'm gonna use also this type of a watercolor and also a watercolor paper. Alright, so again I'm gonna put the link down below if you want to check these materials out, but let's start with this painting. So again, you can use this material that I'm using, or you can also use your own material. You don't have to really use what I'm using, but I'm gonna start using these ones for this painting. You can also paint this on a canvas if you like, using an acrylic paint. I'm gonna use all of these colors today, not all of them, but some of them. There you go. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna use all of these colors. I have some shimmer paint and this paints. Okay, so are you ready to paint? Let me take this paint brushes out. Okay, I'm not gonna be using all of these brushes. I'm just gonna use maybe some of them. So let's see. I'm gonna use the small brush. This is number 0 size. 0 is my favorite size of brush. So let's see. I'm also gonna use maybe this brush here because it's not too big surface. I'm gonna use this brush. It's a number 1/2 size. All right, let's see. Yep, that's it. That's all I'm gonna use for today. If I use any other brush, I'll let you know as I go. All right, let's see here. All right, let me take my paper out. Now I'm not gonna take the paper out from this pad. I really like the pad here. So again, there are 50 pieces here. It's 9 by 12 inches and it's 105 lb. All right, so let's start painting. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape the edges, and I'm gonna do that very quickly. You don't have to see this part, trust me, it's not that fun. So okay, so I taped the edges. Now I'm gonna start painting. So before I really paint, here's my plan. I already posted the video. I already posted the picture of the painting, how I want to paint it. So you can also follow that painting if you like, or you don't want, paint your own thing. You don't have to follow me here. All right, now I'm gonna use this type of a paper tape for this, and what I'm doing here is adding the trees. So I'm gonna add a tree. Because I'm using a watercolor and a watercolor paper, I'm gonna use a tape. If you're painting on an acrylic, if you're painting on a canvas using acrylic paint, you can just simply use a white color whenever you are done with your background. All right, so now I'm gonna add a nice long trees here. So I'm gonna add a whole bunch of trees. So I'm using this type of a tape. I don't really know. I don't know if you can see this or not. I have no idea what it's really called, to be honest, but it says micro pour. So all right, so I'm just gonna kind of measure this, maybe this long, and I'm just gonna cut this here. Now I don't want my tree this thick, so I'm gonna cut this in half. Now I don't want a perfect the edges, perfect edges like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just rip this like this. Now this come off so straight that I don't really like this straight, but I'm still gonna use it for some of my thicker, wider trees. So maybe one of them is gonna come maybe right here, and I like to do it this way. I'm gonna turn my tree like this. So do you see how I turn my tape? You can also use your tape straight if you like. maybe like this, but it's up to you. All right, and I'm just gonna keep adding more trees like this time. Maybe I'm gonna rip 2 times from this, so let's say I'm gonna make it a little bit longer this time. Okay, oopsie. Okay, I'm gonna make a little bit more smaller tree. These are all the way far away from here. So do you see how this looks like? I'm gonna use this. Let's say it's hard to handle 2 tapes. Okay, so I'm gonna use this maybe right here. Okay, I'm gonna fill my whole all of this surface area with a lot of trees. Now I might fast forward this part, and I'll show you whenever I'm done. I'm just gonna do this here. Alright, so here I'm all done with all of my trees. Now I like to just go back one more time and make sure you press it a little bit more, just to make sure it don't bleed. Okay, it will bleed, so it's okay. We can fix that. And there is nothing perfect in nature, right? So you don't have to make anything perfect here. Alright, so I'm gonna use my big brush here first. Where's my brush? Where's my brush? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brush right here. Its number, it says half. So, yeah. Alright, make sure you grab water and take a little bit of water on your brush. Now it's a time to think about what color you like on your sky. I'm gonna use a lot of colors for this painting. I'm gonna start with the lighter to darker. So I'm gonna also add a nice sun in the middle right here, maybe a little bit off middle here. So I'm gonna add my sun here. I have more space here, so I'm gonna add my sun right here. You can also add on the top here, maybe right here, wherever you have space. All right, so to add my sun, I'm gonna use a bright yellow here. So let me take a little water again, and I'm gonna use this color here, yellow. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it a little bit on this side, or you know what, never mind. I'm just gonna use this palette here for this shimmer color only. So I'm gonna show you how I do that later. So let me put this away, and I'm gonna use this little thing here. Okay, it's pretty new, so obviously it's new. All right, so let's see if I can break this. Okay, I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of paint here. it, and I'm gonna add a tiny little circle, maybe right here. Now guess what, I'm gonna add some white now, or you can also use a little bit of water here. So what I like to do, I still have a little bit of paint on my brush. I'm just gonna take a little bit of water and I'm gonna thin down my paint right here. Okay, I'm just gonna also take a little bit more paint. Okay, and I'm just gonna go around that circle. I'm gonna go back on this area and add a little bit of orange later, but for now I'm just gonna go around this area very lightly touching that circle that I added earlier there. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit more water on my paint, and I'm just gonna make my circle a little bit more bigger. Okay, so there you go. All right, now I'm gonna start adding some more other colors here. So I'm just gonna take my paint as I go. So next color I'm gonna use is this red. So let me take a little bit of red, and I'm also gonna use a little bit of orange. So let me go ahead and take a little bit of paint out. This paint are really nice and thick, you know, it's very pigmented. All right, so next color I'm gonna use is kind of a little orangey. So let me make my orange here. So I'm gonna use white, yellow, and a little bit of red. See, this paint are really pigmented, I tell you. So you don't really need too much of paint here. Now I'm really using that nice thin paint here, and I'm just gonna go around my yellow. Now you can also go over your yellow too. Now you don't have to really make a circle here, but I'm making a circle, and I'm also taking a little bit of yellow too here and kind of going over that area just 1 or 2 times like this. It's not like acrylic paint. You have to work a little bit quicker for this when you are working with the watercolor. All right, I'm just gonna spread my orange a little bit more. All right, that's all I'm gonna do with this circle. Now I'm gonna start adding some clouds. Now I'm just gonna smooth out these edges here very quickly because I don't want a perfect dark, you know, a perfect circle there, if that makes sense. All right, now I'm gonna start adding some clouds here. So before I do that, I like to take a little bit of water and apply it almost like everywhere like this. On this side here first, I'm gonna work on this side. Now this paper are really good. It soaks water so quickly. So I'm only going to work on a smaller area here first, and then I'll move on to my next area. So I only add water on this area only, and I'm going to use a little bit of orange color here. And all I'm going to do is just kind of add a little water like this. I mean orange paint like that. And I'm just tapping it like this. Okay. Now, I don't really want to add too much paint on top of these areas. So I'm just going to go maybe 1 or 2 times like this there. So basically, I'm just adding a shape of clouds, you can say. So these are all the clouds, or, you know, the color of the sky, whatever you want to call it. Now, I also want to add this orange maybe right here. Now, do you see how light orange I'm using? You can make it darker if you like. But what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna add this orange right here on this area. Okay, I'm also gonna use the also gonna do the same thing on the other side, but not now. I'm just gonna work on this area here first. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing with the red color. So you can also thin down your paint a little bit if you like. I'm just gonna thin down it on this area here, on this side. Okay, same thing, not really going too crazy, but maybe 1. See, it's still too much pigmented, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. Perfect. All right, same thing I'm gonna do here. Just going under that orange area, maybe 1 or 2 times like that. Okay, let's add some more color on the other side now. So let me just add water here first. I'm just gonna add water everywhere. Okay, I like to add a little bit more water because I told you these paper are really good. It soaks this water so quickly. Okay, all right, now same thing. I'm gonna start with this orange here. I like to make a little bit more orange. Okay, same thing. I'm just gonna tap like this, and I think I need to make it more orangey. Okay, some light orange on the top. As I'm coming down, it's getting dark and dark. You can also add a yellow too if you like. I'm gonna also add one more color. I'll show you in a second. So yeah, just play around with this. You can make it darker, lighter, any color you like. And I'm just using this red now. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. I might go back with one more color here. So actually, you know, let me just go ahead and add that color. So I'm gonna make like a little peach color, peach shade. And to do that, I'm taking my yellow, a little bit of white, and also tiny little red, not too much. You can make it darker, lighter. Again, it's up to you. Some of this area it's already looks like a peach color, you know. So don't really have to go to all of these areas. So I'm just gonna again just tap on some area, and I'm gonna make this paint a little bit more thinner because this is still too thick. Okay, do you see how I'm just going on some area, not going everywhere? Maybe a little bit here. And a little bit here. Okay. Alright, so now again, as I'm coming down, I'm making this darker and darker. So I'm gonna grab a little darker color this time, and I'm gonna make kind of little brown. Alright, and I'm gonna grab some blue here, just a tiny little blue. You don't need too much. Alright, so now I'm gonna make that brown color. So to make that brown, all you need is yellow. I'm just gonna mix it in here. A little bit red and tiny little blue. Okay, I love this color. It almost looks like a little, you know, purple, but I think I need more yellow here. Okay, again, I'm gonna thin down my paint a little bit. Okay, now again, I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna stop tapping here like this. I need more water. Okay, so same thing again. I forgot to add a little water earlier, so let me go ahead and do this. Now I'm really making this dark here, so it doesn't really matter. if I spread this or this brown like that. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna apply this paint everywhere like that. Okay, now I'm just gonna spread out this orange. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm keep saying this orange. It's brown. Okay, just like I did on the top here. Okay, just like that. Just keep tapping. Okay, making it nice and dark. I'm gonna go back with some more color on this area. All right, I'm also gonna add this little brown on this area here, on the red. All right, now I'm also gonna add this red. Make sure it's nice and thin. Also down here a little bit like this. Okay, the more you go over this area, it's gonna look much better and it's all gonna blend really well. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna use a blue color down here. So I'm just gonna thin down my paint just maybe a little bit. And this time I'm gonna start from bottom. So let's say maybe I'm gonna start from right here. And I'm really gonna use more blue and less water this time. Okay, these are all the blue color here. Everything is blue down here. I'm just gonna you know, just add some trees, you can say, in the background. So these are, looks just like this. It's all the way back there, you cannot see it clearly, so don't think too much. Just add a little touch of blue there. Okay, same thing here. And there you go, I'm all done with that. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna clean my brush now. And I'm also gonna add a little bit more red on that blue area. So something like this. Alright, so that's all I'm gonna do here. Now I'm gonna clean my brush. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit of water all the way down to this area. Okay, and I'm just blending this light brown and this water I have here. And I'm gonna add a little bit more water on this area. And just go left and right. Don't add too much water. If your watercolor paper is too thin, let it dry. You can all right, and I want to also add this little yellow shade, maybe right here a little bit. So you can go back if you like to add more color anywhere, if you feel like if any area is looking too light. All right, so yeah, that's all I'm gonna do with that big brush. Now I'm gonna use my small brush. All right, and I'm gonna make some more brown color here now. So let's make some more brown. And again, for that you need yellow, blue and red. Okay, and I'm gonna mix it all together. Okay, now this is the color I'm gonna use. I might make it a little bit more thinner so it's easier for me to, you know, add the line that I'm gonna add. So I might want to make it a little bit more on a blue side, so let me add a little bit more blue here. Okay, now I have this light, like it look like brown, dark brown, but trust me, it's not too brown. I just add more water here, so it's thin brown. Now I'm just gonna add a whole bunch of trees here. So let me start with the easiest one, maybe right here. Now if you want to let this dry a little bit and then do this part, it will be much easier, so that way your paint is not gonna spread out. So let me start adding a little line and make sure it's not spreading out. If it's, then I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. It's not really spreading out, so I can just keep adding more trees like this. Okay, you can start from top, bring it down if you like. You can again start from top and bring it down. Or you can start from bottom and go up. Make sure you cross your trees if you would like to. Okay, I'm barely like touching my canvas to add this type of trees. Okay, now I'm also gonna add some branches on these trees. I'll do that later using this same color here. Alright, so now I'm gonna add a little bit of green here. So let me just make that green very quickly. You can just use your green color if you like. I'm just gonna make my own. And I made a nice and dark green here. So same thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make my paint just maybe a little bit thin here, not too thin. And I'm just gonna add this grass down here. So basically all I'm doing is just adding the adding this paint by doing, you know, tap 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 like this. Make sure your paint have a little bit of water in it. Okay, I'm also gonna add a little bit of this light brown I have here, just on some area, not going really like everywhere. Okay, just tapping it like this. Make sure you don't take too much water, because you already have enough water because of your green there. Okay, now I'm gonna let this dry completely, and it might take 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna start peeling off this tree tape I have here. And whenever you are peeling any tape, peel it, don't peel it like this, peel it like this. Okay, see, it bleed a little bit, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to, you know, that's what it's gonna do. Okay, now we can start adding some color on this tree. Now, if you are painting again on a acrylic, on a canvas using acrylic color, you don't really have to use this tape. You can just use more white color and just, you know, add your shape for the tree. Now, if you like, I can create a similar type of a painting on a canvas, so you can see the difference between these two material and the colors. So I think I like this. This is already looking pretty. Okay, so all we have to do now on this painting is add the color on this tree and add some branches and maybe add some more little details here. Okay, so if you are again using a paper tape, it will be easier for you. All right, so now I'm gonna start adding the colors here. Now I'm gonna use some black paint. Now I am gonna use a very light black here, so I already take a little black here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of water, and I'm gonna thin down my black paint. So I'm barely like taking a tiny little touch of black in a whole lot of water here. Okay, so you can see this here. It's nice and thin. Right now, I'm gonna start working on this tree right here. So now my sun is here, light is coming from here, so the shadows of this tree is gonna come on this side, on the left side. So I'm basically gonna add a line on the left side. So I'm gonna start adding this line like this, going over that white and the background color I have. I'm just gonna make my paint a little bit thicker here because it's hard to see this line, so just maybe a little bit, not too thick. All right, and yeah, just adding a line like this. It might bleed because this area is still a little bit thick, wet, but that's okay. You can let this dry a little bit if you like. I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, this tree is overlapping the tree that is here. So I'm just gonna add a line right here. Okay, now on this side, I'm gonna add the shadows on my right side. All right, now I'm gonna also do the same thing with a little bit of blue color here. So I'm gonna make my blue just maybe a little bit thin again. Same thing, I'm just gonna clean this here because I don't want to use any black for that. Okay, just maybe a little bit of blue and a little bit of water. I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm just gonna add a little bit of blue on the left side for this area here. So I'm gonna add a blue like this. I'm not really adding a sharp line here, so just a little touch of blue like that on this tree, just on the left side. Now it's okay if you also add a little bit of this color on the right side. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And it's okay if you also touch a little bit of black here. We're gonna add a little bit of black in a second. Okay, just a little bit more paint. Okay, same thing on the other side. Again, I'm just gonna do this on the right side. If it's thick, then I'm gonna make it a little bit more wider, like that. If it's thin, I'm just gonna add a one line just very roughly, to be honest. I'm going here, as you can see. Okay, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna add some more details, and I'm gonna use a black color for that. So let me clean my brush, and I'm just gonna take my black again, and I'm just gonna add a little knot, you can say, for all of these trees. So let me show you for this big one. So something like this. Okay, it doesn't have to be like too perfect. So something like this, just adding more darker on the bottom. As I'm going up, I'm just gonna add less paint. So I'm just gonna maybe add 1 or 2 dots like that. Okay, make sure you take a little bit of water if you're using this type of a paint. Okay, I'm gonna again do the same thing with all of my trees. Now I'm also gonna add this type of a knot on the other side too, not just on the one side. So something like this. Maybe I need more paint. Something like this, but not going everywhere, again, just on some area. Okay, so something like this. I'm gonna do that with all of my trees. So I'm adding more darker color, more black on the right side for this area, like I did here. I'm gonna do the opposite, like on the left side, on this side, on all of these trees. Okay, so let me do this one first. Okay, I need more paint and more water. I'm just adding more on the bottom, like that. Same thing on the other side, but a little less maybe. This part is gonna take a little time, so you can take your time, and I'm just gonna try to fast forward this video here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go back with some area and just adding this type of a little line on the edges, so barely like touching my paper here, and just adding this type of a little line just on just some area wherever I feel like I don't see any color there, and I want to, you know, just add a little shape of this tree. That's where I'm adding that type of line. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's all I'm gonna do here. I'm all done. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is add the shadow of these trees now, and I'm gonna use a blue color for that. Okay, so let me show you what color I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna take a little bit of black here and a little bit of blue here, and I'm gonna thin down my paint again. Make sure you take tiny little black and more blue. And all the paints that I'm making here today, it all look like a black color. I don't know how, why, but this is not black, trust me. So it's almost like a, you know, light, kind of a dark blue shade. Okay, I'm just gonna thin down my paint again, and I'm gonna add the shadows. Now I'm just adding a line for these shadows, so let me show you one. So again, this is my sun, light is coming from here, and all of the shadows gonna come down on this angle here. Okay, so there is a tree right here. I'm just adding a line like that. I'm gonna make my paint a little bit more thin, I'm sorry. Okay, so there is my line here for that tree. This is my line here for this tree here, and this is for this one. This is for this one here. This is for this one. Okay, same thing for this one, but this time it's going on this angle. I like to turn my paper like this. It's just easier for me to use this. Okay, don't forget this little tree here. Okay, and I'm also gonna do the same thing with this tiny little trees I have. And again, make sure you don't take too much paint here. Okay, same thing, this going on this angle. And for the trees here, it's going down. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do here. All right, now I'm also gonna add some branches on these big trees, and I'm gonna use a black color here. Actually, you know, I'm gonna use this thin light bluish color paint I have here, light blue. Now you can add as many as branches as you like. I'm just not gonna go too crazy here with these branches. And I'm also gonna make some of my branches this light brown color I have here. So yeah, you can use any color you like. You can add branches on branches if you like. Make sure you make your branch a little bit thicker where it's starting. So let me show you one more. Maybe I'm gonna add a branch, maybe starting from here, adding a little pressure, and I'm going up slowly. And now you can add more branches on that branches if you like. Now I try to choose a very simple painting for the watercolor because I know some of you requested to make a painting using a watercolor. So here it is. Just trying to fill some of the area by adding more branches. Okay, I'm just gonna add maybe a couple more here. I have more space here, so I'm just gonna add like one more. There. For me, it's hard to stop adding these branches. You know me, if you watch my other videos, I like to add branches. So this is all I'm gonna do with this painting. And yeah, here I'm all done. I'm just gonna clean all of my brushes, and I'm just gonna start. I'm ready to peel off this tape. Now before I do that, I might want to add a little flower, but I don't think so I want to. So let me just go ahead and peel this tape off. Make sure you are peeling your tape like this on a little angle, so that way you don't rip off your paper, because I did that before. So just go slow. So usually I don't really make a lot of watercolor painting because to be honest, I don't really do that. That's not what I do usually. And overall I'm talking about not just for the video. So whenever I use a watercolor, it's usually for when I'm making a card. So that way, if I do like an art show, I can sell those. And you know, it's worth of something if I do that, because I don't really sell my watercolor paintings. So but this is the, maybe, I don't even know what number this watercolor painting is, to be honest. I don't really count, but I don't really do a lot of watercolor painting, so I hope this finds easy for you. And if I have more idea, I'll share with you with the watercolor. Don't forget to sign your painting using your watercolor paint and brush, or maybe a Sharpie, right? Why not? I'm also gonna add this shimmer color here. Let me just open this again and I'll show you where I add this shimmer. I'm just gonna use this yellow here. And trust me, you don't need too much. And I'm just gonna add it on my sun here. Alright, I'm also gonna add this yellow on my sky, so you can see my skies. You can see also a little glitter on your sky, on the sky. So I'm just gonna add it like this, just like picking a spot and adding a little this shimmer. After this dry, maybe I'll show you how it looks like, but I don't know if you can see this on this video or not, but I'm just like barely touching my canvas, like I'm sorry, my paper here, like one time, and adding this little shimmer. You can also use a different color here if you like. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do with the yellow. I'm gonna do the same thing with the let's say maybe this pink here. And again, same thing, just picking a little spot, just adding a little touch of this. Now make sure you do this before you peel off your tape, obviously. All right, now I'm gonna do the same thing with some blue. So I have this maybe this blue I'm gonna use. Oopsie, don't take any other color. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with some green. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. So yeah, here I'm all done. I'm gonna let this dry. So yeah, here I'm all done. Now again, thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you like this video, and again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video. And see, I don't know if you can see this shimmer there. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'll show you in a light whenever this is nice and dry. But yeah, here I'm all done. And again, thank you so much for painting with me. I'll see you next time whenever we paint again together. Take care. Bye.